All right. Hey, everybody. Lo Faber here, Dr. Lo, and welcome to my new interview series, Conversations about Music with Musicians. And I'm having so much fun doing these interviews, and I'm real glad that you're here to watch them. I want to say, as always, please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and if you like this kind of content. And also, please check out my twice weekly live streams. I'm on every Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m., every Thursday evening at 8 p.m., and those are Eastern times. And you can see the streams for free on YouTube and on Facebook. And please be sure to check out my guests' music as well. I'll be sure to post some links in the video description so you can check out their music beyond just what you hear in the interview. All right, enjoy. All right, hey man, how you doing?
Hey, Lo, so good to see you.
And
this is amazing.
I see that you are in the famous kitchen with the lemonade sign.
A different room, but
oh no, it's not the kitchen. But do you have a lemonade sign in every room in your house? Is that it?
No, my kids would kill me. They would kill me. I have to take it down when they're with me. So,
how old are your kids?
11 and 13.
Okay.
And Dad being a music guy is not a cool thing, but when they're young, but not now. Not now.
All right. So my guest today is Gregory McLaughlin. He is a singer-songwriter and bassist from New Jersey, or also my own native state. You live in Jersey City now. You've played with many bands over the years, including Buzz Universe for 9 years.
9 years, yeah.
And you told me that you started in 2015 playing open mics with just vocal and bass to give yourself an outlet for some of the songs that you were writing. And it's not that common to just play with vocal and bass, but you've really made a thing out of it. And what really drew me to you is the fact that we were both live streaming on a platform known as Buskin' Down the House on Facebook. And so I started watching your streams and really enjoying what you do and your songwriting. And I sensed that we were both on a similar mission in terms of, being kind of forced into this weird situation of only being able to connect to audiences through a computer screen or a phone screen, that we wanted to make the most of it. And, I think we've definitely adopted different ways of doing that, obviously, but it's not that one way is the right way, but it's just that we were both thinking creatively about how to make this something that was not just a kind of second-rate substitute for playing live, but actually kind of its own unique thing and treat it that way. And so I've come to really enjoy your work as a songwriter, and I want to talk about your songs, and I also want to talk some about, your approach to the live streaming phenomenon.
Sure. I don't know if it was the same with you, but I didn't plan to do it more than once. I was just, everyone was doing it, it was like March, and I was like,
yeah,
okay, I'll give this a shot. And it was really weird, and I was nervous as hell.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still have a little butterflies, but the first time I was shaking, really. And I had like the very last comment from a viewer named Stella, who's an old friend of mine's wife. She just said, I think it was like, he rises first. I think that was what she said at the very end, and something about that kind of stuck with me.
Yeah, that was really a great comment, and it's amazing how, a word of encouragement, those of you out there, you may not realize that just a little word of encouragement really can go a long way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I asked if I could do Monday again, and it was like, well, Monday seems good. And then that's it. It's been Mondays ever since, 45 episodes later. So.
And you're always on Monday at 8 p.m.?
8 p.m. sharp Eastern, correct.
You guys do about an hour and a half?
Originally it was, I was kind of pressed to stop after an hour, but now I'm getting close to an hour and a half, hour, 40 minutes. I just don't really look at the clock, which is great. So, I've gotten a little more freedom. No one tells me I have to stop after an hour. So I do what I do.
and you have a great community of supporters on your streams, and it's really awesome. And
it's shocking. Thank you.
What I find striking is not just that they're there, but they're also so active commenting. Like they're just spitting the words back out at you of the songs that you're singing because they know them so well at this point, right?
It feels good. It feels really good. I mean, especially because I've only met about 2 of the people that you would see in there regularly face-to-face ever. So that's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah. And they're all over, like Nebraska. I have someone in Nebraska who actually made a sweatshirt that said #1 McLaughlin Nebraska fan and sent it to me. And I was like, what?
That's really awesome.
So, I mean, that is amazing. At my age, after all I've been doing. Yeah. Very humbling.
Well, we shouldn't talk about your age because you're a lot younger than me, I think. But,
Not too much.
You have 2 kids, so, you're not a total spring chicken.
Yep.
My kids are 14 and 19 now, so they're not that much older than yours. So in kid years, we're pretty close together, actually.
Yeah, you're going through the same things as me. Yeah, exactly.
But I know when I see your streams and I see all these people just so happy to hear, Lemonade or Dodgeball, I feel like how great that is for a writer to get that feedback on your songs. Well, let me ask you right off the bat. I mean, do you think of songwriting as the main thing that you do? I mean, you sing your songs and you play bass, but do you feel like the songwriting is the main thing, or do you not think of it that way?
I do. I think that was when I really found my stride and my identity. When I was like, songwriting is my thing. I was always obsessed with being a better bass player when I was younger because I was in a band and I felt under pressure to, perform at a certain level, especially in like the jam band scene. And so
there's a lot of emphasis on instrumental virtuosity in this scene. It can be a little intimidating sometimes.
Yeah, a little bit. And I would read Bass Player magazine, and I don't know who the interview was with, but someone just said, the best way to always know you're going to have a gig is just to write songs and become a songwriter also, because you own that. And, a lot of people can do different things at different times. And I was like, well, maybe I'll try to focus on that a little bit more. And I do think I always had a natural ear for just coming up with like cool melodies because things have always popped into my head, and I think that's just from listening to a lot of music over the years. So, because some of my most fun ideas I did come up with when I was young. But I do think as a songwriter, that's my natural stride, and that's the thing I love the most. I think it gives me the most personal gratification. Definitely.
Yeah. As I've been doing these interviews and talking with people about their songs, I just keep being struck by the fact that every songwriter is really so different and unique, and there are so many different creative approaches to this. And nobody really knows what a song is. It can be so many different things. You know what I mean? Yep. Your songs have as I've been listening to them yesterday and today and really thinking about them, they have a very just sort of particular mindset, aesthetic, ethos. It's very consistent and it's very appealing. And I'm thinking that maybe there's a certain degree to which you're conscious about that, but maybe not that much.
Yeah, I straddle stuff that's very, very personal based on life experience, and then I just kind of take the influence of movies and arts and world issues and kind of meld it into a hodgepodge. But it really starts with a good hook. Yeah. And I think that's my biggest obsession is just something that people can sing along to and remember.
And your songs really have that, and that's what I think that's some of the energy that's driving these streams of yours is that, people, you can just feel they're singing along at home, and that's awesome.
It is an amazing feeling. Thank you.
Let's talk about Lemonade, because that's, possibly your signature song. It's the one that you have a sign of behind you. And it's really great song, but we're going to watch your video for it in a minute. But is there anything you want to say about when you wrote it, how you wrote it, the circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to get into too much detail, but
Sure.
I would say that
It's entirely voluntary.
No, it's fine. That song came out of probably the hardest thing I've ever gone through in life, aside from losing a loved one. But the hardest emotionally thing someone could go through, and during like the darkest time, that just kind of came out. And but at the same time, it's what helped me get through it. And for that reason, it's my favorite song, and I just think it's my best song. And it's always going to be that song that's going to be a part of any show, because, I know you don't, I mean, yes, there are weeks when I might not play it because I'm doing so many streams, but, as far as a live show is concerned, I kind of think about Brian Wilson sometimes. He would always say that God Only Knows was his favorite song, and he would say, that's the best Beach Boy. He wouldn't just say it's my favorite song. He would say, this is the best Beach Boys song, and he's a huge inspiration, and come on, God Only Knows. I'm not in any way comparing this to that, but I feel it feels good for me to say that's the best song I ever wrote. So just means a lot to me.
It's really interesting that you talk about how it got you through a particular time, because I really feel that with some of my tunes. And and for me, it's just the song might be really old, and those wounds are not really so painful anymore. But I'm happy to sort of keep in touch with it through the song and still performing the song. And yeah, it's exactly. I was also recently heard Don McLean talk about American Pie, which he has to play at every show, and it's pretty much what 99% of people know him for. And so he was asked if, do you get sick of playing American Pie? And he said, no, I'm so thankful to have achieved this thing, have created this thing that has meant so much to so many people. And American Pie is my best friend. I'm never going to be sick of playing it, And
it's a great attitude to have,
yeah.
Van Morrison. But I feel the same way. I probably saw the same interview Sunday morning, I think, maybe.
Well, let's watch the video. And I'm going to share my screen, and we can also talk about the differences between the band version that's in the video and your solo version that you perform every Monday now. Okay, here we go. This is Gregory McLaughlin's Lemonade from 2018.
Sit on my porch and I'll promise to make you an ice-cold lemonade. Watching the breeze in your hair, feeling a little bit scared. No more going through the motions, washing my hands till they're clean, praying for my team. Wish there was a magic potion, 'cause I'm a 2-ton heater, broken parking meter, and my heart's got more weight than my head. And I'd rather join the circus than find another bed. And it's a long time coming, hit the ground running, so you'll find me out back in the shed. And I'd rather join the circus than find another bed. Sit on my porch and I'll promise to make you an ice-cold lemonade. one and the same. Laughing through the pain. Words were never left unspoken. Crazy how things change. But I know it's nothing strange. Everybody's heart's been broken. And I'm a 2-ton heater, broken pocket meter, and my heart's got more weight than my head. And I'd rather join the circus than find another bed. And it's a long time coming, hit the ground running, so you'll find me out back in the shed. And I'd rather join the circus than find another bed. Like it or not, there are shots that we've all gotta take. I can't deny that the look in your eyes says love ain't something to fake. 'Cause I'm a 2-ton heater, broken pocket meter. 2-ton heater,
Broken pocket meter.
a 2-ton heater, broken pocket meter, broken pocket meter. Yeah! Sit on my porch and I'll promise to make you an ice cold lemonade.
Yeah, man. Well, and so that video's from 2018,
Yeah.
and
It's been a while, man. I was getting teary because I'm seeing so many of my friends in it that I haven't seen in so long. It was just like, I was welling up there a little bit. Gosh. Yeah.
did you make the video? I mean, just the casual photos, and I mean that some of it is live shots of the band recording, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's actually my ex-brother-in-law. He's a great guy, and he was actually helping me quite a bit, emotionally through certain things at the time. And I dumped him a big file on Dropbox of random photos, and he was like, "I just want to do something for you, you know?"
Nice.
And he made that video, and he actually has a secret appearance in there, so you might have to look for him. There's one picture I'm not in, and that's him. So yeah.
I like your Tom Petty Full Moon Fever shirt. Makes two
Thank you.
appearances in the video, I noticed.
I bought that at the Full Moon Fever tour. It was my second concert. I was 14 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great album.
I take good care of my shirts. As you can tell, I still have that God Street Line bag shirt, too. I wore it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. 27 years old.
So I think that the tune has evolved somewhat from this version with the band to the way you perform it now. Not in any drastic way, but just that there's maybe just a little more maturity to it, which is kind of what happens if you play tunes for a long time, right?
Yeah, it's tough, like anything, where I really like the whole doo-wop major harmonies going on, and it's very hard for me to cover that on my own. I always miss that, all the ba-da-da-das. But people actually, with that song, they comment ba-da-da-da all the time, which I love. Awesome.
So they're filling them in.
Yeah, they actually do. I can feel it, I can feel it. Even though it's silent, I can feel the energy.
That brings me to a note that I made on your lyric sheet that I printed out. I just, when you play with vocal and bass, you can't have any harmony. I'm not just talking harmony vocals. You can't have any polyphony musically.
Yeah.
The only polyphony that can have is that your bass is playing one note and your vocal is singing a different note. But that's, that's pretty bare bones as far as harmony goes. And so, for me, harmony of chords is like my playground. And to think about having to work without that whole aspect is really daunting. And so I started thinking, you can't use any harmony when you do these performances, but the listener sort of provides it. Like the nature of our ear is that we sort of hear harmony even when it's not being stated, right?
Yeah, maybe. It's funny, like the technicalities of that, I don't even realize it. I'm oblivious.
Yeah.
People have said the same thing to me, though. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do get it. I understand the concept of what you're saying. I guess I've just learned to work around it, but it hasn't been a very conscious thing. It's just been a figuring it out thing.
Right. Well, you told me that that you started playing, open mics with just the bass, and I think that was kind of a ballsy decision.
I just I knew I was writing songs that I needed to be heard, and, releasing a single with no performances whatsoever, as I was struggling to put together a band and, going through all that and constantly having issues with flaky musicians or, how it can be, like Buzz Universe was a great band, like truly a great band when it came to functionality, willingness to show up and come and rehearse and willingness to go play gigs and and be reliable. I mean, I had a really great core of musicians. Yeah, we had our conflicts, of course, but you don't realize how good you have it when you have a functioning machine, if that's one of your first experiences, until you kind of go out into the world and you're like, oh man, Yeah, look what I'm dealing with here.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, one time I had a bunch of people I was starting to form a band with call me up, have a conference call to tell me they want me to stop playing open mics because they thought it was distracting from the band, which, anyway, maybe we can cut that part out later. But
it's kind of like, being in a band is like being in some sort of Soviet collective where it's just, your individuality really has to be sacrificed at many times for the greater good, which, it's all a trade-off. But
actually, with the current band that I do have, which sadly we haven't seen each other in quite some time, but it kind of came together organically from open mics, and I'm just I guess I'm kind of the benevolent dictator, but at the same time, I don't tell anyone what to do. I just kind of put a very loose idea out there, and they've been following my lead on things, and making sure I pay everyone has been very good. Not a lot, but just enough that it's just like it doesn't feel like a big sacrifice for anyone.
Right.
And I just feel like the gratification kind of comes full circle a little bit if I go that extra mile as well.
Money can also be a thing that really gets in the way for bands and band harmony, of course. Bands really get along when there's no money or when there's an unbelievably large amount of money. But anything in the middle, it's like there's arguments about it.
Absolutely.
I don't want to press you too hard about Lemonade and the painful aspects of the song. I mean, I can sense that they're there and that it's, it works on several levels. This song has got this surface level that is just a very sort of happy, quirky little song. But you can sense that there's deeper levels to it. It's not just happy and quirky, but it is happy and quirky.
There's emotional levels there, and I do think people pick up on it in a subconscious way. And I think that's one of the reasons why my followers really connect with it a lot as well. Because you know what? I mean, the one line that stands out to me that I love is "Everybody's heart's been broken." Yeah. I mean, it's just a simple truth.
It really has, yeah. And a song is like, you can take a sort of truism like that, and you can just say it in a song, and it can fall flat. but you've built this whole thing around it about lemonade, and you know, then in the context of what you've created, this rather trite observation that everybody's heart has been broken. Yeah, sure, who cares? But it acquires this magic, right? I'm not saying that you thought that consciously about it, but you can't just come right out and say everybody's heart has been broken. You need to sort of
it was definitely, you know, it was just the reason why it's my favorite song is that it was the experience of writing it was just very magical. Just the way that they came together, where I was at the time when I came up with that main line. Where did it come from? You know, it was just a very magical feeling at the time, like much of songwriting, but that one particularly.
I noticed that, so you have one song about lemonade, another song about dodgeball, and then another song about going to Buffalo to feel young again. So these are all like, you know, are you pining for your youth? Are you nostalgic for being a kid?
No, but I do have a very, very, very good long-term memory. I can remember, you know, incredible amounts of detail about different times of my life. So I think because of that, I don't lose connection to all the different times of my life. And like Greyhound to Buffalo, if you're asking about that one at all.
Well, we're going to play that one in a minute, right?
Sure, I would love to.
Yeah. No, no, but go ahead and say what you were going to say about it.
No, I think that one, it's not a personal longing. It doesn't reflect a personal longing at all. But I relate to those times when, you know, when you kind of long for glory days. You know, I mean, that's been sung about forever. You know, the college days. You always have that memory of the guy who graduated a few years ago and is still at the bar. You know.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, you're like, "Hey, wow!" You know.
The William H. Macy character from Magnolia, you know that movie?
I do. I haven't seen it in 20 years. Which character?
William H. Macy plays this guy who was a quiz show winner as a kid, and now he's like middle-aged and really sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I never want to be that person.
Right.
But I'm not going to be, because I'm always pushing for what's next in life. But you know, you have those thoughts, and that stuff that inspired that song.
Yeah.
And you know, Buffalo itself, I don't have much personal experience with, except that Tim Russard's from there, and he's a big hero of mine. He was my college graduation speaker, and I just know
Where did you go to college?
University of Scranton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And,
Interesting.
Yeah, there was a God Street wine show in Scranton I was associated with. We can talk about that later. But
well, my dad lives in that area. I was actually born in Wilkes-Barre Hospital.
Okay.
And,
wow.
Yeah, I grew up in Jersey. My parents were divorced when I was very young, but my dad still lives in that area, so I'm pretty familiar with it.
I love Northeast Pennsylvania. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah, great part of the country.
I've been dying to ask you, and I know in a way I have to apologize for this, because, you know, it's always, sometimes you don't know how to react to certain comparisons, but have you heard the Jonathan Richman comparison a lot? Is that something that people have said to you?
No, but
I'm surprised about that.
Yeah, I've seen him in concert. No one's ever made that comparison to me. I did see him at the Grog Shop in Cleveland about 20 years ago. It was around the time of Something About Mary, and I basically went because of Something About Mary. I didn't know. I was like, hey, it's that guy with the bongo from Something About Mary. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And fantastic. And I love the Modern Lovers. So it's funny you say that, though, because my most recent debut of a song is called When I Was Sand. And I really thought that I have Modern Lovers' influence in that song. So it's kind of ironic you would say that right now.
Well, I'm a huge Jonathan Richman fan from way back. And you know, I was into him way before Something About Mary, although that movie and that appearance did kind of raise his profile for a while. But I really think that he is a genius. And I think that there's something about his use of innocence that on the surface is very, he's playing with the idea of naivete and innocence, but that you sort of sense that there's something deeper there. And I get that same feeling from your songs, from a whole bunch of them that I've listened to.
That's nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Why don't we move on to Greyhound to Buffalo, since we were just talking about that?
Yeah, sure.
And I would love it if you would perform it for us.
It's my honor. Thank you. I don't play sitting down too much, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, this is a whole different experience, actually.
So this one kind of starts slow and builds. So let's just see how it goes.
From time to time, when we can't seem to work things out, we draw our lines, then fall behind, or push ahead and live in doubt. Taking a Greyhound to Buffalo, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo to feel young again. Concern for anybody but yourself. A second chance, a lonely dance that you can't blame on someone else. Taking a Greyhound to Buffalo, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo to feel young again. Taking a Greyhound to Buffalo, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo to feel young again. No one's content in purgatory. We've gotta live to tell our stories. Is anybody out there? Once a year, uniting villages around. But then we close our doors pray for cures, but only hear familiar sounds. Taking a Greyhound to Buffalo, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo to feel young again. Taking a Greyhound to Buffalo, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo to feel young again. To feel young again. To feel young again. To feel young again.
Yeah, man. It's a good one.
Very hard to do that ending riff and sing that line. They're much in juxtaposition to one another, and so every time I'm stressed out, like, you're gonna fumble that line as you sing those words, but that just makes perfect.
Yeah. Well, again, you're out there with no safety net.
No, and they always say that a bad bass note on the one can like ruin a whole song in a band.
Oh yeah.
Try it by yourself. It's every bad note. It's like it's like it's being stabbed. You're in the middle of the zone, and I do a very interesting story about how that song was written, though.
Oh yeah,
and,
please share.
It's one of my favorite songwriting stories ever, actually. One of the reasons why when I asked a few of my listeners, my fans, what songs they'd like insight on, and that was one of the most requested ones.
Okay.
But
now the story can be told.
What's that?
I said now the story can be told.
Yeah, so a few years ago, I had a friend named Michelle from Australia, who I consider a personal friend, but we had never met. She is a David Bowie fan, and we had connected on a Facebook David Bowie page years ago, and we just became friends. And she used to follow Buzz Universe, and she actually would hand out Buzz Universe CDs for me in Sydney at one point, and she finally was going to visit America. And I was like, great, come to New York, you can crash with me. And so it's really cool. So she's like, the reason I am coming to America, well, I'm coming because I want to go to New York, but I have to see Hamilton while I'm there. I have to see Hamilton. I'm hearing about Hamilton. I got to go. So she looked into tickets for Hamilton and just could not afford them. But she's like, oh, it's okay, though. I got tickets anyway. I'm like, really? So she's like, I got really good seats, too. And I'm like, great. I'm like, so where is it? It's not at the theater? He's like, no, there's a touring production. It's in Buffalo. She had no idea. She just saw New York and saw Buffalo and thought that it was like, whatever, like, I'll just
it's pretty far.
She didn't realize it was like 7-8 hours away. So anyway, so she was taking a Greyhound. And if you know Australians, they don't care. They travel everywhere. It's like, whatever.
Oh, it's a big country, a lot of space.
Yeah, so taking a Greyhound. And it was Thanksgiving Eve that she took the Greyhound to Buffalo. I think the Greyhound got stuck in some snow upstate. It was a debacle, She was out all night, but she saw it in Buffalo. And the whole time, I just something went into my head, and I was like, taking a Greyhound to Buffalo to see Hamilton. And that stayed in my head for 2 years. And then, I guess it was infectious enough that eventually to see Hamilton seemed a little too specific for a song.
Too particular. That would date it. It would date it,
But yeah, Michelle in Australia. I'm sure she's watching.
So that was really like at the height of Hamilton mania, because it was huge there for a while, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think she got like good seats in Buffalo, but I think they would have been like $1,000 tickets, if not more, in New York City. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah, I haven't seen it myself yet.
I saw it on TV, like, you know, it was like on the HBO version, but no, I never saw it.
I want the real experience. I want the New York experience.
Yeah.
Soon.
I was thinking while you were playing the song, I was thinking about, I actually took a bus not that long ago, a couple years ago. I was actually coming north for a God Street Wine show, and I was staying with my friend Aaron, who plays in God Street Wine, and I never stayed at his house, actually. He lives in Kingston, New York, and I flew into LaGuardia, and I was like, I'll take a bus. You know, I was like, I don't rent a car, that's expensive. I found a bus for like $10. Worst thing ever. You know, like 5 minutes into it, I was like, it's crowded and it's hot and there's that carbon monoxide sort of thing. It's like, oh God, I realized why bus travel does, you know, make you feel young again, because, you know, when you're a grown up and you have a little bit more resources, you kind of avoid bus travel if you possibly
can. I took a bus from Providence last year for fish. So yeah, no.
There was something else I wanted to ask or say about this one. Well, maybe it's just you know, I was thinking about I was thinking about the stereotype of bassists. You know, that bassists are all kind of quirky and offbeat, and you sort of fall into that. You know, like. If you're you know a adolescent and you tend to like go right at things and choose the most obvious thing, you're gonna pick up the guitar, right? And you're gonna want to be the guitar player. The bassist is more someone who's thought, you know, maybe I can take a more subtle approach to this.
Honestly, when I started playing bass, it wasn't like that at all. I actually didn't even understand what bass was. My friend John was playing guitar, and he said, "Oh, you should try bass. It only has 4 strings. It's easy."
Right. Well, yeah. That's in that.
That was the launching point.
Yeah.
But then I did have a moment where I was blown away by bass for the first time. And I wrote an article about that, and that was by a jazz guitar player named Sonny Sharrock. Have you ever heard of him?
No, I can't say that I have.
Yeah, he was like a free avant-garde jazz guy who Rolling Stone actually named him Jazz Guitarist of the Year. He had an uncredited appearance on a Miles Davis album, and he was from Ossining, where I grew up.
Oh.
And
I'm embarrassed that I've never heard of him, especially I went to jazz school and everything.
And he did an assembly in my high school auditorium where he came in with a trio, and instead of doing the avant-garde thing, he just did like a blues thing, and the bass player just blew my mind, and that was my bass, you know, light bulb moment. And I approached him after he became my teacher, and now he's one of my best friends. Actually, you can see him; he's in the Lemonade video. He's the gentleman I'm on the bridge with. I'm wearing an orange hat.
Oh yeah,
the friend. That's the first bass teacher. So that's one of the reasons I put that in the video.
Cool.
Yeah. Kendall Buchanan.
Well, we have one more that we talked about. And I'd love to hear you play this one as well. And this is Windstorm.
Yes, thank you. Oh man, don't get me started on the stories from that one. That's
Well, please. You know, there are a lot of in these lyrics. There are a lot of you know, suggestions of, you know, very relatable anecdotes and scenarios.
Yeah. We could probably go verse by verse on that one if you have the words, because it's a song I really love. I'm very proud of. So, and I'd say of all my songs, I like the opening line of this song more than anything else I ever wrote. It's my favorite opening line. So, I think you were just talking about opening lines with the C-Pods guitar player the other day. Weren't you talking about opening lines in your other interview? About a great opening line, I think it was yours, about line about upstate New York too, or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, from Max Verna's Blackberry Brandy.
Yes.
Yeah. And the North Country Freaks. We were talking about that line, and actually, that relates to you as thinking about how that song and its invocation of North Country Freaks really brought the band and their following together in this like community, really, which is what you've got with your streaming following. It's a community, really, during this very strange time. And so I think there's, we're all trying to build that, right? We're not just trying to make songs because we want to make songs. They're a means to an end, right? They're a way of communicating with other people and sharing something. But I'm sorry for going on about that. But yeah. Why don't you play it first, and then we can start dissecting some of the lyrics. Just want to make sure I'm recording still.
Like a windstorm on recycle night, the shit was everywhere. I ordered up a shot, then washed it with a beer. Then the countdown went from 10 to 1 and everybody cheered. I wondered if I'd see another year. My jacket only halfway on, I stumbled out the door. The city looked excited, but I needed something more. Then the comfort creatures looked my way, a bitter metaphor. Yes, once I had someone to adore. And the years go by, we still survive, but never quite know what's in store. And the more I yearn, it seems the less I learn. But we all need someone to adore. There's a spot we had in Union Square. I'm walking into walls, memories of laughter, shaking the snow off. And I feel like Captain Kangaroo, turning the faucet on. Maybe there's a moon we'll walk upon. And the years go by, we still survive, but never quite know what's in store. And the more I yearn, it seems the less I learn. But we all need someone to adore. As the sun comes up, I start to see a ghost in front of me, coming down from heaven, trying to break free. The only thing I need in life is the happiness you bring. All the rest I do my best to swing. And the years go by, we still survive, but never quite know what's in store. And the more I yearn, it seems the less I learn. But we all need someone to adore. Yes, we all need someone to adore.
Yeah. So, we're in F sharp.
We are. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great hook. It's a great chorus.
Thank you.
And I think all your songs have good hooks, but not only just good hooks in and of themselves, but that really work in an integral way with the song. I mean, it's not just ear candy, you know? So good job.
Thank you. I think I have a few ear candy songs, but yeah.
Well, I mean, a hook is ear candy is almost the definition of a hook, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, and it does, you know, they get lodged in there, which, you know, can be great or it can be infuriating. But I think what's there in the song, other than the hook, is what makes the difference between it being annoying or actually, you know, really great. So.
Very humble. Thank you.
And yeah, the lyrics, I mean, I guess the only reference that's actually geographical is Union Square, but the whole thing to me felt like New York City. Maybe is it Times Square on New Year's Eve, the countdown?
Yeah, you know, that part, it's funny, Forrest Gump, you know, think about Forrest Gump, the scene with him and Colonel Dan, and it's New Year's Eve, and, you know, everyone's cheering, and Forrest is kind of figuring things out. No, actually, Colonel Dan more. You know, he doesn't necessarily look so happy. And he's taking a shot, you know. That kind of rung in my head. That was always a scene in a movie that really stuck with me a lot, you know.
Yeah. Well, nothing is sadder than seeing a lot of happy people, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was a big part of that. But, you know, it's funny. I sat on the opening line to that song for about 5 years. I was just, you know, I don't know if you've lived in a lot of urban places, but a lot of people don't wrap their recycling properly. And, you know, in a place like Jersey City, you get a windstorm on recycle night. I mean, you wake up in the morning, there's literally shit everywhere.
Yeah. I lived in Jersey City, by the way. I lived with Aaron and Tomo from God Street Wine. I lived on Kennedy Boulevard, upstairs from an Egyptian Coptic family. Yeah, it was quite a scene.
Wow. It
was way before the gentrification of Jersey City.
Yeah, well, I'm in a more you know, I'm in a more middle of the line neighborhood, so right by Kennedy.
But in New Orleans, by the way, where I live now, there is no recycling.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
you can. Some people pay. You can pay a private company, you know, but you know, only a few people can
do such a poor job with it. You know,
yeah.
I mean, you don't. Yeah, we won't get into that, but yeah.
But that's so. Do you have a whole, like I do, sort of mental Rolodex of these scraps and phrases and lines that like maybe we'll get into a song one day?
Yeah, it's funny you say Rolodex. I feel like I actually had a Rolodex up till recently.
Really?
I just feel like my brain is a Rolodex that's flipping all the time. I'm dealing with like the regular ins and outs of life, and there's always that little Rolodex in the background that's cycling through the ideas, cycling through the words, coming up with the next idea, figuring out. Yeah, I do have just endless, and a lot of voice memos too. The iPhone's made it pretty good with the voice memos.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
Oh, the voice memo is such a blessing for songwriters, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And not being self-conscious to wake up at 2 a.m. and like mumble something in there to catch that little fragment that might become something. So
I remember what I was thinking when you were playing. The other thing I was thinking when you were playing Greyhound to Buffalo is I really want to produce this song. I really want to produce that track.
Wow.
We should
it's
talk about
actually
that.
Under production right now. Maybe you can mix it.
You've got you've got a band version already cut?
It's in the track's been laid down. Yeah, I'm working on the vocals right now. So I gave something away. I'm not going to give away what other ones we're going to release soon, but yeah.
Okay.
Give that one away. Oh man, I would love to do something though.
Well, we'll do another tune one day because
absolutely, Lo. Yeah.
And maybe before too much longer, when this craziness gets maybe slightly less crazy, I'll be up there and we could do a show together. Yeah, when I hear you play your tunes, I can't help but just like think of little noodles on guitar and keyboard. They're just very friendly to wanting to play along,
Thank you so much.
So
wow.
no,
Nice.
I'd really love to do that sometime.
Well, it was an honor to play Borderline when I did that a few weeks ago.
Oh, thank you so much for doing. Yeah, I forgot to say that was really nice to hear. I mean, it's always nice to hear when people play my songs, and you've worked with a lot of singers who have sung your songs. I saw some of those videos too.
Yeah, I've tried to get other people to do songs. When I write something, it's not necessarily the best for my voice. So, and that's debatable. My fans, some of them don't like it when I give other people my songs. They're like, we want to hear you sing it. So, that's a debatable topic. But I just do what I feel is best for the song.
I realize, we've just almost consumed an hour here, which is, I think, a good length. But I did want to just ask you, I asked you about Jonathan Richman. I just wanted to ask you if there are any people that you really admire as songwriters that are the people that you really love, not just for their records and stuff, but for their songwriting in specific.
Sure. Boy. I'll plug someone smaller. I'm going to plug Josiah from Gandalf Murphy and the Slambovian Circus of Dreams. They're a band from Cold Spring, New York that not a lot of people know about, but have had a little grassroots cult following forever. And he is very much influenced by Bob Dylan. And Bob Dylan really is, it's not just a cliche, but, he inspires me so much. I mean, of course. The endless volume of incredible, beautiful songs. And the rare opportunity to get to see him in concert, it's just, you're beholden to, I feel like I'm with Picasso or something, if I did go see him, it's one of the last things I did before the pandemic, and I'd have no regrets about going to see him at the Beacon Theater. Oh gosh, there's so many if I had more time to think about it, but I'm just going to give it up to Zaya from the Slambovians and Bob Dylan. They're somewhat similar.
Just one more time, the Slime.
What's that?
What is that band? One more time from Cold Spring?
Oh, it's Gandalf Murphy and the Slambovian Circus of Dreams. But they also go as the Grand Slambovians sometimes. And I recommend checking those guys out. Yeah, they've been around for a long time, and they're very underrated. And they have a good following. They always play the Falcon Ridge Folk Festival in upstate New York. So they've got, a nice little niche of fans.
Yeah.
But, no commercial success. I don't know if they ever will. But they're a working band.
That is great to know. Yeah, thank you for the tip. I will check them out. I'm already familiar with Mr. Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, it's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing you every Monday night.
Thank you so much. And you too, Sundays and Thursdays. Very, very happy to be part of this community, and really psyched to have you invite me for this. So I appreciate it greatly. I'm a big fan. So.
Right on, baby. Stay cool.
Got it.